So all the buttons have the same socket. So you just have to interchange the socket. And then you can use this to activate the toy as well. Yeah. What inspired me to start up Engineering Good? I was working as an engineer in solar power social enterprise. We were designing solar home systems for rural communities in Laos. You could really see how engineering can really help the marginalized and underserved communities there. So I wanted to create similar opportunities for engineers in Singapore to be able to volunteer their skills as well. Initially, we wanted to also do more projects overseas in international development. Those projects didn't really pan out too well. And because we also wanted to engage more engineers here in Singapore, we decided to focus on assistive technology for persons with disabilities. So this switch is a commercial switch. So it's a lot more sensitive if you compare it to our big button switch. This one is a lot more sensitive, but it's also very expensive. So especially if you talk about parents, where it's already very expensive to raise a child with special needs, trying to get assistive devices can be really an additional cost. Yeah, so being able to have a low-cost big button switch that their child can use at home really adds to their ability to play well. The Hack-A-Toy is actually, I guess, it's the most publicized thing that we have. Came about from our first project. We got in touch with, or we were introduced in a sense to AWA School, which is another special education school. And this was one of the first ideas they brought up because they had gone to another assistive technology center overseas somewhere, and they had seen all these DIY switches, and they were asking us if we could do the same DIY switches here, for their students. So that was how the entire Hack-A-Toy idea came about. Oh, you were there?
We need to complete filing 32 battery compartments by tomorrow morning. So that's when the handover ceremony is. I think they've been here for about 3 hours doing this. Well, Hannah and I have been friends for quite a while, a few years. We both work in the NGO sector, so we kind of have things in common. So we would spend quite a lot of time talking to each other about our own experiences. A few months ago, she started looking for an intern, and at that point around September, October, I was also looking for a way to make a bit more income and offered to help her out. Hannah as CEO has to do everything more or less. She's the jack of all trades of the organization. She has to do management, she has to do administration, do fundraising. So Ivan is one of our volunteers. We should talk to Ivan. He's been doing this much longer than me. Yay! Ivan rocks. We got a couple more of these.
You want to take the screwdriver with you?
Please.
Yeah, it's quite straightforward. So my name is Ivan. Currently, for now, I'm the workshop coordinator for this year. I'm the one who would coordinate participants and the facilitators, train the facilitators. And on the day itself, it's do a brief introduction to what and why this is for to the participants, and just kind of overview and oversee what's happening on that day itself. I guess I want to do something more meaningful outside of work. And so Hannah is a friend of a friend, and I think our in-between friend posted on Facebook about EG, and so that was how I got to know and how I approached EG to see what I can do. So other than Hannah, who was full-time, everyone else is volunteers, and because we all have day jobs or our own other studies or whatever other matters, so it's pretty hard to get everybody together to always come together for a meeting or to plan or to execute certain things effectively.
Work-life balance? What work-life balance? engineering good does take up quite a lot of my time. I'm trying to find a better balance of my time. Yeah, because I do realize that in the early stages of running the organization, literally spent almost all my time on engineering good, which was not very healthy lah.
My name is LJ. I'm the board secretary and the exco secretary for Engineering Good. I find that the projects we work on are very meaningful, and the finished products, we can see the children with special needs interacting with our products, and when you see them laughing, it's very fulfilling. Yes, definitely. There were a lot of challenges when we were first starting up Engineering Good. Firstly was the shortage of resources, mainly in terms of funding. Shortage of funding is still an ongoing problem that we're trying to find a solution to. So if anybody wants to donate, please call us.
Typically, the problems with fundraising is that first, organizations and individuals would prefer to donate to projects, so things that benefit people. So they don't fund things like overheads such as salaries, office rent, and so on. Yeah, then it becomes very hard for many NGOs, to be able to find funding to cover things like that.
Actually, I think in a way it's very similar to starting a business. So initially, you have limited funds and limited resources, and you cannot really promise people anything because there's nothing to be promised yet. If you want to start something, it really takes a lot of heart. And I think for the NGO side, it's even harder because at the end of the day, you really cannot promise any material returns. You are just really appealing to people's hearts that you are basically helping people, and that's good enough. Yeah.
We've finished filing some of these toys. So I'm just bringing them to the car to road for tomorrow. Not the best arrangements, but we'll make do.
Afternoon everyone. Thank you all for coming down.
We focus on assistive technology for persons with disabilities. We have a couple of projects run with your school. We also run projects with other disability organizations and so.
So I think that's all from me. You guys can start signing.
It's like the first time for me. We've never done it before. I don't even know what soldering is.
A lot of things you take for granted, like turning on a switch for a toy, it's fairly challenging for like a child with disabilities.
The key takeaway is really, increasing the awareness, because it's new. This thing is really new to me, and I'm not aware that there are such technology that we can actually do cheaply and easily for the kids that actually needs it more. Yeah.
I work with the children who have a physical disability in the school, mostly from cerebral palsy. So I feel like there is still a lot of area to improve, especially using everyday tools. So for example, using a mouse is one of those, playing with toys as well, because some of them, the on-off switch are very small, And children's hands, they might not have the ability, the muscle strength and the coordination to turn on a switch, which is really, really small. So instead of having someone do, the parents, the caregivers do things for them, having these adaptive technologies, they can do a lot more things by themselves and being able to live as independently as they can.
Last month we did this, we actually created the button that fits into the mouse today, and then today we're doing the hacking of the mouse.
So this is actually a very good idea and a means for all of us to be able to connect back and to help as we can. With a simple idea like that, you can actually spending about $10 to be able to provide them with the same means and method is very innovative and not too difficult to do at all, like 12-year-old can do it.
I'm given the opportunity to help disabled children and at the same time get to use the solderer and learn about these circuits.
Like even the smallest things we do can actually impact other people. Like for example, the workshop today, it wasn't that complicated. We just kind of like the soldering skills and like piecing the mouse together. Like so we just use simple skills like this, but actually makes quite a big impact to the person who's able to use this mouse in the future. Yeah.
I counted last one is 17.
So we're at NUS High this morning, and today what we're doing is actually training the students who will be facilitating that workshop. And these students are from the engineering interest group.
Today they are making two different things. One is an accessibility switch, which can be either connected to adapted mouse or a toy. The other is actually adapting a few mice, computer mice, so that the left and right clicks can be activated using an external big button switch. And then if anyone's interested in why the battery interrupter or how the battery interrupter works, that's the necessity of the board. So what we're doing with the battery interrupter is we're opening up the circuit, the original. The battery interrupter basically interrupts the battery. It's very encouraging to especially at the end of the projects when we hand over the products and you see the beneficiaries use it and they actually feel very satisfied with the product that they are finally able to do something by themselves. It's really very satisfying.
You can read about what the different kinds of disabilities are and how it affects people, but until you actually see it firsthand and experience it firsthand, you don't really realize what kind of impact it can have on a person and their family. So that did move me quite a bit.
Me, I think it's not so much about the engineering. It's more about, I just think in general helping people is makes me happy too. So it doesn't have to be engineering, it can be any other means.
We want Engineering Good to become the go-to organization, so anybody who has any needs can come and seek our input so that we can marry the technical engineering solution side and the social impact side. So I believe that for every solution, if there is an Engineering Good input, maybe we can help to make things better.
Basically, the persons with disability are disabled by the society. So they are disabled by how society perceives them and treats them. So in a way, I believe in Singapore there needs to be a stronger social model. There needs to be greater acceptance of persons with disabilities, what they can and cannot do, and to accommodate them a bit more. Yeah. One of my motivations is that I want to leave this world a little better than I found it.
So I guess that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. They'll probably motivate whatever I do in the future. I don't know what that might be.